One of these 8 gun myths will probably get someone killed this year, and you might still believe it. Most people watching this have at least 3 of them stuck in their head, the kind that feel true but will fail you when it actually matters. Number 8 alone has already cost lives. Stick around till the end. The number 1 myth shocks most shooters. Number 8. Guns always fire when you pull the trigger. This is the most dangerous myth of all because it creates a false sense of certainty in life or death moments. People assume a firearm will work every time, but they are mechanical devices, and mechanical devices fail. Imagine a home invasion. You confront an intruder, pull the trigger, and hear nothing but a click. In that moment, your supposed advantage becomes a nightmare. You've escalated the threat without the means to follow through. Firearms fail for dozens of reasons: bad primers, broken firing pins, dirt, or unseated magazines. The deadliest part of this myth is the complacency it breeds. Many treat a gun like a magic wand, leaving it in a drawer for years without maintenance or practice. Professional military and law enforcement personnel know better. They train for these failures constantly, practicing immediate action drills to clear malfunctions in seconds. If you own a firearm for protection, you must understand how it works, how it can fail, and what to do when it does. In a real emergency, you won't have time to figure it out. Regular training and maintenance are the only ways to ensure your precision instrument performs when it matters most. Number 7. Silencers make guns completely silent. Hollywood has convinced millions that silencers turn guns into whisper-quiet tools. In reality, a suppressed firearm still produces a sound loud enough to alert everyone within several city blocks. The correct term is suppressor, and the name describes exactly what it does. It suppresses sound, from ear-destroying to merely very loud. An unsuppressed gunshot measures around 160 decibels, louder than a jet engine. A suppressor might drop that to 130 decibels, which is still louder than a jackhammer. This myth becomes deadly when people assume they can use firearms discreetly. Relying on stealth in a home defense or tactical scenario based on movie physics is a fatal mistake. Even a suppressed rifle shot is clearly audible from hundreds of yards away, especially at night. What suppressors actually do is reduce muzzle flash, decrease recoil, and protect the shooter's hearing. They are hearing protection devices, not invisibility cloaks. Professional operators use them to manage their sound signature, not eliminate it. Believing in movie magic leads to a dangerous miscalculation, announcing your presence to a prepared threat when you thought you were silent. Number 6. Shooting a gun from the hip is accurate and effective. Action movies portray hip shooting as a viable combat technique, but in reality, it's a recipe for disaster. Accuracy relies on proper sight alignment, consistent grip, and a stable stance. By firing from the hip, you eliminate every factor that ensures you hit your target, essentially spraying and praying while hoping physics works in your favor. In a defensive situation, every shot matters. Missed rounds don't just disappear, they travel through walls, endangering family or bystanders. Professionals know that true speed comes from efficient technique, not skipping the sights. A trained marksman can draw and deliver accurate hits faster than an amateur can spray bullets wildly. The danger of this myth lies in poor training. Practicing Hollywood nonsense builds muscle memory for an ineffective technique that will fail under stress. When your life is on the line, one well-placed shot is infinitely better than a dozen misses. If you're serious about protection, master the fundamentals of marksmanship from a stable position. Real-world effectiveness requires precision, not movie magic. Number 5. Kevlar vests make you bulletproof. The term bulletproof is a dangerous misnomer. Body armor is actually bullet-resistant, providing protection against specific threats under strict conditions. A level 3A vest stops most handgun rounds, but won't even slow a rifle bullet. Only heavy level 3 plates stop rifle fire, yet they have significant coverage limitations. The deadliest part of this myth is the false sense of invulnerability it breeds. Even the best armor only protects the torso, leaving the head, neck, and limbs fully exposed. Professional operators understand that armor only buys time. They still prioritize cover and avoid being hit at all costs. Worse, armor can fail. Kevlar degrades with exposure to heat, moisture, or UV light, and ceramic plates can crack unnoticed. There's also the reality of blunt force trauma. Even if the vest stops the round, the impact energy is transmitted to your body, potentially breaking ribs, causing internal bleeding, or knocking you unconscious. Surviving the hit doesn't mean you're still in the fight. Understanding these limitations is crucial. Armor is a valuable tool, but treating it like a magic shield is a recipe for disaster. Number 4. Car doors and windows provide adequate cover from gunfire. Hollywood routinely portrays car doors as bulletproof barriers, but this myth is arguably the most dangerous because it creates a false sense of security around everyday objects. In reality, a car door is mostly empty space, plastic trim, and thin sheet steel. Most handgun rounds will punch through it like cardboard. Windows are even worse, providing zero ballistic resistance. This becomes deadly when people in active shooter situations instinctively crouch behind doors, making themselves stationary targets. The critical distinction is concealment versus cover. Concealment hides you from view. Cover actually stops incoming fire. A car is almost entirely concealment. The only part of a vehicle that offers reliable protection is the engine block, which covers a very small area. If you're caught in a shooting near vehicles, use the car as visual obstruction to move to real cover, like a concrete wall or a large tree. Don't stay stationary behind a door thinking you're safe. Understanding what actually stops bullets versus what just hides you from view could save your life when real bullets start flying. Number 3. Guns jam all the time and are unreliable. On the opposite end of the spectrum are those who believe firearms are constantly failing. This myth is dangerous because it leads people to underestimate armed threats or avoid using firearms for legitimate protection. Modern firearms, when properly maintained and fed quality ammunition, are remarkably reliable. Military and law enforcement personnel trust their lives to these tools every day. The unreliability myth usually stems from old, poorly maintained guns or bargain bin ammunition. These aren't technological flaws, they are maintenance failures. Underestimating an attacker because you assume their gun will jam is a gamble you will likely lose. A well-maintained pistol can fire thousands of rounds between malfunctions. Professionals maintain their firearms religiously, identifying potential issues before they become critical failures. The key is separating fiction from reality. Guns aren't temperamental machines, they are precision mechanical tools. If someone is threatening you, assume their weapon will work. If you rely on one for protection, maintain it and train regularly to ensure it does. Don't gamble your life on a malfunction that probably won't happen. Number 2, shooting at gas tanks will cause massive explosions. Action movies love the spectacular fireball that follows a shot to a gas tank, but this myth is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of physics. Gasoline in its liquid form doesn't explode, it burns. To create a detonation, fuel must be mixed with air in specific proportions and met with an ignition source hot enough to start the reaction. Simply poking a hole in a tank with a bullet won't create those conditions. Extensive testing, including by the Mythbusters team, shows that shooting a gas tank typically just creates a leak. While gasoline might ignite if a separate ignition source is present, it burns rather than exploding. This myth is dangerous because it encourages unnecessary risks or causes panic in situations where there is no immediate threat of explosion. The reality is that creating an explosion with small arms fire is incredibly difficult. Military forces must use specialized incendiary ammunition and specific techniques just to start a fire. While fuel vapors or aviation fuel present different risks, standard automotive gasoline is dangerous because it's flammable, not because it's inherently explosive. Professional responders train for fuel fires because they understand the true hazards: intense heat, toxic smoke, and rapidly spreading flames. These are serious threats, but they are a far cry from the instant cinematic detonations Hollywood portrays. Making tactical decisions based on accurate information rather than movie special effects could save your life in an emergency involving firearms and flammable materials. Number 1. Rifles are always more powerful than handguns. This myth seems logical, but firearm power is defined by energy, the product of bullet weight and velocity. While many rifles are powerful, there is significant overlap between categories. A .22 caliber rifle produces roughly 90 foot-pounds of energy, while a .44 Magnum handgun can exceed 1,500 foot-pounds. Underestimating a weapon based on size is a deadly mistake. The .22 rimfire is often dismissed as a toy, yet it has claimed more lives than almost any other cartridge because people don't take the threat seriously. Conversely, choosing a rifle for home defense without considering maneuverability or over-penetration can be equally disastrous. Terminal ballistics also play a role. A high-velocity rifle bullet might pass through a target entirely, while a heavy, expanding handgun bullet stops inside, delivering all its energy to the threat. Professionals select ammunition based on the specific mission and environment, not just the size of the frame. These 8 myths prove that the biggest danger isn't the firearm itself, it's replacing real knowledge with convenient assumptions. In life-or-death moments, Hollywood fiction gets people killed. Base your decisions on ballistics, physics, and reality. If you want to see how these compare to other lethal misconceptions, check out my breakdown of survival myths that will get you killed in the wilderness, linked on screen now.